Hello, welcome to Living Hypnotically. I am your host, Erika Flint, and Living Hypnotically, where we explore the application and benefits of hypnosis with professional hypnotists. And today we have our guest, Van Morgen. He's a jujitsu coach. He has 10 plus years of sales experience. He's also a collegiate athlete, and he grew up right around here on Whidbey Island. Van, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks so much. A pleasure talking to you always.
Yeah, wonderful. Let's start at the beginning. What got you into becoming a hypnotist? How did this start?
Yeah, so it actually started on Whidbey Island. I was
Mm.
at the Island County Fair and I got called up on stage. And it actually started with a lot of skepticism. So I didn't think that hypnosis was real. I thought it was all a scam, and I thought
Yeah.
everybody that got hypnotized were just acting. And sure enough, I was the only one that it didn't work on. So when the stage hypnotist was doing the induction, I got called off the stage,
Okay.
and then I saw everybody doing the performances. There's a person that I actually knew, and I knew they weren't a singer or anything, and the stage hypnotist had him sing Frank Sinatra, and he sang it like beautifully, like he just really felt the Frank Sinatra vibes.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, there's something to it here. And then I started just researching it on my own.
Right.
And actually, my senior night in high school, we went on a cruise ship, and it was like a all night, overnight party.
Yeah.
And they hired a stage hypnotist for the cruise ship.
Mhm.
And sure enough, like I raised my hand again to get called up on stage. Only this time I had done a little bit of research about hypnosis, that you actually need to be compliant and just have an open mind when you're
Yeah.
getting into hypnosis. So you can really block, if you're just like, oh, it's not going to work, it's not going to work, then you can really block out that relaxation from happening. And this
And that's
time
a good point, right? Because people
yeah,
think that we're going to sneaky hypnotize them without their knowing, and that's
right.
just really not going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I went up on stage and I was like, okay, I'm just going to make a point to really follow directions. And it was just, it's not, I wasn't trying really hard. I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to follow instructions and not block it out this time.
Not resist it, not put up a
Exactly.
wall, or not be defiant. Do you think that's what was happening the first time that you were?
I was literally in my mind, I was like repeating, oh, this is not going to work.
Mm.
Okay. So
And it didn't
that's,
work. Yeah.
and it didn't work, right?
Okay, but this
So,
second time you go up there with an open mind, you're allowing. So what happened
mhm.
the second time?
Yeah. So the second time I went into a really deep state of hypnosis where I'm just imagining everything that the hypnotist was saying. And she painted a scene in my mind that I'm wandering in a desert and my lips are super parched. And she hands me what I thought was chapstick. She's like, here's chapstick. It's gonna really feel good on your lips. It's gonna soothe your
Yeah.
lip. And so I put it all over my lips. I was like, oh, this feels so good. And then that it was really
Right.
lipstick all over my face. And so it was just for entertainment purposes for the most part. But there was something that actually really powerful happened when she was emerging me from hypnosis. And during the emerger, you're gonna be wide awake out of hypnosis, and you're gonna feel like you just had the best night's sleep of your life. And this is like midnight. And so people are already tired, it's late at night, and we're
Right.
doing an all-night party. And I truly felt like I just got an amazing night's sleep. And for the whole rest of the night, I was full of energy. We took a ferry boat ride home the next day at 5 a.m. in the morning. So we took the earliest ferry back. And I was one of the only ones that was just full of energy, talkative. Everybody else was sleeping in a bad mood because it
And how
really
many
did.
people do we know that want more energy these days?
Yes,
Right? Isn't
exactly.
everybody feeling overworked and stressed out? And a big complaint is, oh, they never get a good enough night's sleep, never feel like they have enough energy.
Yeah.
Hypnosis can change that. And you learned that night. So what did you think after that?
Yeah, so I thought it was really intriguing, really interesting, and it really paved the path for me to start researching more about the subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And yeah, I learned a lot about the subconscious mind even in sports. So I played tennis in college, and
Mhm.
but I was always interested in the subconscious mind and how it worked
As an athlete
as
and
an
how
athlete.
that works and visualization and that
Mhm.
type of thing.
Yeah. And then so what really got me to become a hypnotist and serve others with it is I was in my sales career and I hired a hypnotist and I also did a just kind of basic hypnosis certification course and NLP certification course. This was about 3 years ago. My sales jumped from getting about $7,000 a month in commission to over 20,000 a month in commission. Just that, then it was that exact month. I did the certification in early December, and by the end of the month is when I had that commission. So it happened really rapid.
Wow. What
And
was that like? To see such a quick turnaround in something so real, like money in your bank.
yeah, so it was a feeling like this actually works. And I felt like just there's like an inner game. I felt the inner game of sales, like the
Oh,
emotional
yeah.
side of it. Yeah.
Awesome. So then at some point you decided, hey, I should do this professionally and help other people do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, good. So what was that like? How did you finally make the decision to then become a professional hypnotist and not just for yourself, but others, right?
Yeah. So I was actually in Brazil and I was working remote. And so I had the ability to work from wherever. I took that opportunity to go to Brazil and I ended up parting ways with the sales company I was in. They had a change of leadership. And then I was really just contemplating life. How can I really have an impact on people? And what's something that's tangible that I know works. And part of me was thinking, oh, like I'm really into fitness, I'm into jujitsu, maybe I'll be like a health coach in that aspect. And for me, a lot of the coaching is just very analytical and it's in our thinking mind, right? And so it has some benefits, but it just fades away. So I know when I talk to a therapist or a coach that unless I'm really putting it in action or really have an emotional component behind it, it just fades away the results that I'm getting from it. In hypnosis, I really had like tangible results that were based in my subconscious mind and my feelings, and I really took action on it.
Get the book. Start hypnotizing. Get the book and first hypnosis lesson free now at canyoubeahypnotist.com.
And
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, this is something very tangible, results oriented that's really going to make an impact in people's lives.
It's deep, obviously. It has deep roots, right? You don't have to keep focusing on it. You're, like you said, you're getting some results, whereas other things need to remain top of mind or they're just conscious only. We have to keep our lists and keep our goals and keep everything in front of us, right?
Mhm.
Hypnosis tends to work at a deeper level. And you've probably found that clients come in for one thing, but they often get that and more because the results are really solving something that perhaps has been going on for a long time, right?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Good.
And yeah, I think that is really the difference and what stood out about
Mhm.
hypnosis is you're getting results. You don't have to see a hypnotist for years and years.
Your results, you got one in that night on the boat, all sorts of energy.
Mhm.
Then later you get all sorts of money, abundance of energy and abundance of money. Those are two things for sure people would absolutely love. So tell us about one of your clients. Tell us about a client win and what that process is like or anything that would make sense there.
Yeah, 100%. A client that just completed the 5 path program with a
Mhm.
client that was a tech worker. She was just getting out of a bad relationship and was just caring too much about other people's opinions about her, and it was affecting her work. It was affecting her finances, and it was affecting her ability to find a new partner. When she came in, she had a kind of laundry list of things that she wanted to work on,
Right.
and
I need help
yeah,
with, is what my
exactly.
clients often
Yeah.
say.
And which is good because it's realization, right? Areas in her life that she can work on. And also,
And how the impact,
Mhm.
really, because complacency is a real problem and people will just keep taking it, so to speak, until it becomes too bad. And so when we recognize how bad it is, how is this impacting your life and all of the ways that it's making people's lives miserable, That's when they start to take action.
Yeah. And I explained to her that hypnosis is often more effective when we can narrow it down to a specific result that she's trying to accomplish that will benefit the relationships, work, finances, health. And so we were able to narrow it down to caring too much about what others think. And that was the focus about hypnosis. And
Sounds like there's some overthinking baked into that. Caring too much, thinking about it, worrying about it, rumination, all sorts of stuff like that, right? That's a huge problem for people, right? They go home and worry about everything they said or did, or what should they do instead. And now they're looping, and it just takes away all of their happiness.
yes. And there's a huge noticeable shift towards the end. So at first, even like our first session, she was really even just nervous and skeptical about hypnosis. So one of the things that she says, I don't know if I can get into hypnosis. She's, oh, is there going to be like some different types of dialogue or communication because I don't have a good memory. So there's a lot of different, like, I guess, fear around hypnosis and just getting
And
into
that's
that.
pretty common, right? Most of our clients don't come to us with experience in
Mhm.
hypnosis. Some of them
Right.
will come to us with experience in meditation, or maybe they listened to a meditation, or they did a prayer, or something like that. But most of our clients, at least in my experience, it is their first time. There is a little bit of fear, and it tends to be around just uncertainty.
Mhm.
And that's part of our job to do as best of a job as we can to help people feel safe. But I just, I think it's normal and I think it's okay for our
Yeah.
clients to feel that a little bit when they're doing anything new. And I'll often say that to them, right? That this is a
Mhm.
big deal. Of course you're nervous about it, right? This has been impacting your life, right?
Mhm.
So really good job working with her, because I just think it's a common experience for people. They might really want the change, but there's a little hesitation, right?
Yeah.
So then it sounds like you were able to help her feel comfortable and get results, even just after that first session.
Yes, even after the first session. And that's one of the beautiful things about hypnosis is
Yeah.
I can see the emotional change from right before we start and when I'm explaining how hypnosis works
Yeah.
and diving into, okay, here's what we're going to focus on.
Yeah.
And there's anxiety there, some anxious energy, and then the transformation at the end of the session of them just feeling so light, so like free and happy. It's really quite extraordinary seeing that change.
In that first session, because they've been carrying it around for quite some time, right?
Yes.
And this is what I think is so surprising. Some people are like, oh, I've been doing talk therapy for this amount of time, but truly you can feel better with a single session of hypnosis because your
Mhm.
thinking mind has been hanging on to some narration, story, all sorts of juggling these things, right? The moment where you're able to consciously drop that is tremendous. And our clients can start to realize their power
Yeah.
really in their
Mhm.
ability to do that. And so even just that first session of hypnosis, I've had clients be like, oh my gosh, Erika, I forgot what good felt like. Like
Mhm.
she had been in so much kind of trauma drama for so many years that it's just this slow, just eroding away any happiness in her life. And so a
Mhm.
moment of hypnosis, like consciously unplug. And this is where I think it's important for our clients to realize, because when we sleep, most of our clients are falling asleep. Whereas if they're consciously relaxing, there is a profound level of self healing that happens when they are consciously and able to notice that level of relaxation. And that's what you gave to her, that and probably more in that session, able to truly kind of disconnect or release and feel okay for
Yeah.
a moment.
Mhm.
It reminds me of clients who might have chosen alcohol. And so I work with a lot of clients who drink, right? But if you take them back to their first drink, it's very likely to be an experience that is, oh my gosh, that's the first time in my life I wasn't so anxious. It's a very
Mhm.
common response for
Mhm.
people who come to stop drinking. Like their first drink, the voices are, it's not as loud. There's less self-talk, less all of that, right? It's just a profound state of being because now we can offer our clients almost that same experience without any alcohol and without any drugs. They get to do it themselves. And so the power that comes from that and from that realization is quite remarkable for our clients who are suffering because now they can get it themselves. And now we get to
Yeah.
teach them that. So, what
Yeah.
happened to this client over time?
Yeah, and over time, like each session, he would notice something that was like a tangible result would come up,
Yeah.
whereas she noticed like tangible results with the hypnotherapy sessions. So, for instance,
He came in and would report results to
yes,
you.
she'd report results, yeah, before our session. So, one of the things she said that she would go to the gym
Mhm.
and she would just feel judgment about other people. She'd look over and, oh, these people are so fit. And
Right.
when I would go work out, they're probably judging me, or I feel just uncomfortable in this scenario.
Yeah.
And that was actually preventing her from working out. So the caring so much about what other people thought about her was actually preventing her from
Yeah.
working out and hitting the gym and getting hard workouts in. And she noticed, yeah, I just went in there lighthearted. I just like focused on my my work and on doing the workout. And then in like another session, she was talking about how she's wanting a new relationship and stuff. And then yeah, I even felt like if somebody like approached me, I even would feel open to talk with them. Whereas before, I just feel so
Wow.
closed off. A huge change. And by the end of the session, she was getting praised at work. She was high end in corporate in the tech field. And so she was getting high accolades and praise that she just hadn't gotten before. And then so now she was like,
Wow.
now I just feel like I'm going to have a leadership role. And that was the conclusion within the company.
Good
And
job.
just felt so confident and lighthearted. And even when she just came in for that fifth and final session, you could just tell how lighthearted she was. She's excited about getting into hypnosis,
Good
excited
job.
about relaxing. And so there's a
Yeah.
huge quantifiable result that she got.
And it sounds like she did better at work, open to relationships, feeling better about herself because there's not this negative self-talk and this self-judgment and this all this stuff going on all the time. So there's more peace and quiet up there. She's probably able to focus and get more done. Good job to you and your client. That is amazing. I don't think people realize how much our negative self talk or all of that can really impact our life because you notice when clients start getting better or they have a session of hypnosis and then they get on the upward spiral, right? Because
Mhm.
we all have heard about the downward spiral and rock bottom, but there is an upward spiral too. There
Yes.
really is. And so you'll start to hear clients saying things like, things just seemed easier. Things
Mhm.
seemed easier, right? It's like when people stop drinking or get off a substance, everything seemed hard when they were on it because there was just, and it's the same thing with negative self talk. It's like this weight that just really impacts our clients in every way. So when we remove that, and the concept of lightheartedness, where did that come from? Did that come from her? Did that come from you? Because it's really beautiful.
That came from her. And
Yeah.
I would ingrain that in the session. So
Yeah.
I like to keep it very open-ended. The questions I ask really
Yeah.
open-ended. I use that as well and just ingraining that within
Yeah, that's really good because it paints a really good picture
yes.
when feeling lighthearted. I can almost see her kind of bouncing into the gym, so to speak, just skipping into the gym instead of caring what anybody's thinking. Really
Mhm.
good job. But this is such a core use case for hypnosis is this overthinking mind, the self-judgment. It's the protective part trying to keep us safe, making us think it's better to do nothing than to put ourselves out there for ridicule. And then we have social media, video online. There's a whole mess of things going on at gyms right now, right?
Mhm.
So at the very end, what was she like? What did she say to you?
Just how happy, she
Yeah.
was. And then she even asked, so now that we're finished, can I do hypnosis again? How
Right.
will that work? And yeah, the answer is yes, of course. There's always
Mhm.
something to work on. And also, she can take a break to really make take action on it. And if there's any
Right.
time that she wants a refresher, especially with the self-hypnosis, that she can use that. So she also went, there's also a list of other things that she benefited from. One was
Mhm.
sleep. So she hadn't got that good of sleep for the last 7 years. And
That
so,
becomes a problem too, doesn't it? And then clients wonder, what really is the problem? They're stressed and now they can't sleep. They don't wake up with energy. It's hard to get out of bed because they're so stressed. So there's no like delight in their day. And with hypnosis, right, they start sleeping better. That reduces stress. We reduce stress with hypnosis. You don't have to worry about all this. And now they're sleeping better. So it
yeah.
reduces stress, helps them sleep better. And pretty soon, just like my client 2 days ago, woke up with energy for the first time. He didn't have to keep hitting the snooze over and over. The alarm came up and like he said, he just jumped out of bed and was excited for the day. And we take that for granted, don't we? You might have had a time in your life where it was easy to get out of bed or life was
Mhm.
fun and right. And that can get eroded away through stress and responsibility. And our clients get to a place where they aren't sure what to do. That's why they
Yeah.
come to us. Is there anything you'd like to share with your clients or potential clients or out there listening? What would you like to
Mhm.
say to them about hypnosis or about what's going on with them? Anything?
Yeah, so I like to say that hypnosis truly does work. And
Mhm.
so I think that there's a lot of skepticism around hypnosis. It's either from, and they're usually polar opposites. So oftentimes people will think, oh, it's mind control. You can just hypnotize somebody and you make them do whatever you
Or
want.
against their will.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess there
Yeah.
will. And then you'll get the other side of the spectrum where they're like, oh, hypnosis, it doesn't work. It's not scientific. It
Yeah.
doesn't get results.
Mhm.
There's always either a pill or something to fix it, or just there's no need for hypnosis in general. And so you get the polar opposites, ones that they think, oh, hypnosis works too well. And then the other, I would just say that it's not like that. Your hypnosis is extremely effective and it gets people results for increasing their sleep, decreasing their negative self-talk, increasing athletic ability. I actually have a lot of athletes and world-class
Hmm.
athletes that have came to me for hypnosis sessions to be the best in the world at their sport. And I know even Michael Jordan would do hypnosis.
Why wouldn't you pay a hypnotist to be the absolute best? And the fact that athletes have used visualization and hypnotists for years and they have plenty of money, it just proves that there's highly effective uses for hypnosis. It works really well. The human brain is complex and it's easy for us to get our mind into certain loops or narrations that are not good for us. And there are lots of ways that we can start thinking in negative loops or all sorts of things that hypnosis can easily help people with, right? Decades of issues. People are able to realize what's been going on in a state of quiet
Mhm.
reflection using the power of hypnosis, and someone like you who cares and wants to help people live more freely and happily, right? Have you used hypnosis yourself, Van?
Yes, actually, one of the most powerful changes for me personally, just doing the 5 path certification course. The course I was on the second day when I was learning self-hypnosis,
Mhm.
and I was like, okay, I take melatonin every night before sleep.
Yeah.
And then when I was told, okay, you can actually just do self-hypnosis and it works really powerfully to go drift off into a nice, natural, restful sleep. And I
Mhm.
actually had been tracking my sleep and I'd been getting 5 to 6 hours of sleep every night with melatonin. And I was like, okay, let me try this without melatonin, without anything. And that exact night, I got 8 hours of sleep. And then ever since then, I was getting 8 hours of sleep without melatonin,
Wow.
without any other supplements, just using the self-hypnosis technique.
I know a lot of people wake up with things on their mind,
Mhm.
But there's also a lot of bad habits of sleep. There's also hormonal changes. Certainly, women going through menopause, there's issues that can happen there that disrupt sleep that can be very frustrating. I think anything that we can do to help people sleep better, because it really is problematic if they're not, right? And when you
Right.
are, at least you're starting the day off with the direction that you want to be going. Yeah, I think I would say probably a third of my clients are coming to me for sleep. It's like it finally
Mhm.
gets so bad they can't stand it. And so they
Right.
reach out for help with hypnosis, and it is highly effective. Even if you've done all the sleep hygiene and you've done all of the studies and all of that stuff, there's something very special about hypnosis because we are looking at shifting the meaning according to certain experiences that the unconscious and subconscious mind like to hang on to, right? So we get to change that inner story.
I've also had really profound experiences with clients getting
Mhm.
really beneficial sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That in and of itself is just so valuable because we're going to be sleeping basically a third of our life, eight
Right.
hours a day, right? In a 24-hour cycle. And
Mhm.
so when that one third is problematic and then it starts making the other two thirds really hard, like dragging through work, grumpy with family, and his husband or spouse and the kids always get the worst version of you because you got to show
Mhm.
up for work. Yeah. Keep doing such a great job, Van. I am really proud of you and all the people you're helping. And I love your story. A little skeptical at first, but then recognizing and being curious and following through and then really understanding the perception and belief, right?
And I want to say thanks so much for all
Mhm.
your help with the mentorship program and the like deeper understanding of Five Path and just
You
really
bet.
what it takes to start a business as a whole. So
Yeah.
that's been like really crucial in me being able to do this and to help other people. Really appreciate all the time you spent with me to help other people. So.
Lovely. That's what we're here for, right? I think it's always worth it when you get to help other people live more freely, happily, and you get to pass it on. So that's what we want to do, right?
Mhm.
Anything else you want to share with your clients out there? Anything else?
Yeah, just if you're interested in having a conversation, that you
Yeah.
can find me on social media, Van
Yeah.
Hypnotherapy, or visit my website. I'm always here to just have a casual conversation, a consult, or book a consultation, like a formal conversation, just
Yeah.
to better understand your current situation, where you want to be.
And
And
what's your
yeah,
website?
it's www.vanhypnotherapy.com. Van.
Vanhypnotherapy.com. Perfect. That's easy to find. All right. Thank you so much, Van, for all of the focus and effort that you put on out into the world to helping people and helping them feel better, helping them sleep better, helping them just be better humans and get more fulfillment and happiness out of their life. So thank you very much. I'm Erika Flint, professional hypnotherapy instructor, board certified hypnotist, and owner and founder of Cascade Hypnosis, training for services in Bellingham, Washington. We'd love to have you in an upcoming training course. You can find out about that at cascadehypnosistraining.com, and you can find me at cascadehypnosiscenter.com. So it's lovely to see you, Van, and talk with you about hypnosis. And how do you live hypnotically? That's how I like to close today. How do you like to live hypnotically, Van?
Yeah, so
Get the book. Start hypnotizing. Get the book and first hypnosis lesson free now at canyoubeahypnotist.com.
it starts first thing in the morning
Mm-hmm.
doing self-hypnosis, getting myself into
Yeah.
a peak state, go into a cold plunge, and then in my midday lunch or break, I'll do
Mm-hmm.
a self-hypnosis practice and then getting great sleep with hypnosis. So
Excellent.
that's really helped me just be the best version of myself.
That's good to hear. I find too that, and for my clients as well, that multiple check ins or like returning to your default or returning home, if you want to call it that, throughout the day is what really helps people.
Yeah.
Hypnosis first thing in the morning, hypnosis in the early afternoon, hypnosis in between work and home as a transition, and then hypnosis as you fall asleep at night. Those 4 times in a day. For my clients, I'll give them the 15-minute recording for that. That means they're doing an hour. And for self-hypnosis, it would be at least that much, I would say. So now we have folks who are spending an hour a day at a calm, receptive state. That does so much for the brain. So lovely talking to you today, Van. Hope everyone enjoyed this episode. Leave us your comments and questions for Van below. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm Erika Flint. This is Living Hypnotically. Bye for now. Thanks, Van.